Well, welcome everyone. We plan on this being interactive and entertaining because we are talking about gamification. So why am I giving this presentation? I'm a senior principal consultant right now, but my first startup was, we were the first mobile grocery in Chicago to be able to accept food stamps. We waivered USDA, and it was an incredible project. And when you're trying to get people to switch from the norms, right, what they're used to doing something new, you need to be engaging and interactive, right? So anyone ever see that wheel that spins that you get a coupon or a discount or things like that? Like, we would bring those out to presentations. We gamified things like that. And then another startup in food and nutrition too. Again, when you're trying to change habits, let's make it entertaining. And then stints in healthcare and gym management software. So throughout all those experiences, I continue to layer on and getting better at gamification tactics. So let's level up our products, right? The key here is striking a right balance. Gamification, as in life, you need great balance to succeed. Now, too little gamification isn't effective, right? You can't put up one leaderboard and leave it for the year and expect results, right? Gamification is dynamic. On the other hand, if you put too much gamification into your product, users are overwhelmed and they feel like taken advantage of, and it decreases the intrinsic rewards of doing things. So, gamification is it's a tool, not the outcome. We don't go set out and say like, you know what, I want to go do gamification. It's no, I want to go do X, and gamification is a tool in my toolbox to make that happen. Also, like everything else in product, test and iterate. Come up with gamification ideas, game mechanics, put them in your product, test it. What is the data telling you? Is the data telling you that users are interacting with it? They like it? Are you doing customer surveys? Is it well received? If it is, great, build on that. If it's not, try something else. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because how many people have heard multiple presentations on OKRs and KPIs? The point, again, with gamification, it should align to your business goals. If your goal is to grow user revenue by 20%, align gamification to help make that happen. If you're looking to keep retention at a certain level, use gamification to make that happen. It is a tool, it is not the outcome. And then choose your game mechanics. So, when we talk about voice of the customer, understanding the user, while you're building your persona and you're thinking about game mechanics, right, I believe there are 12 different types of game personas, right? What type of gamer they are. So not only do you know your customer and your user, but understand what type of gamer they are, what they like to play, how they like to play it. And as we talk about, a common theme through all of this too is once you understand your user, then you understand their story. And once you understand their story and the story that you want to tell, you build your game mechanics on top of it. Challenges, social elements, progression systems, and match the mechanics to the behaviors you aim to drive. Has anyone seen The Witcher on Netflix or played the video game? All right, we got one or two people that understand what I'm talking about. This is one of my favorite games because just the story of the game, your decisions as you play this game dictate the outcome. There's morality involved. There are different romantic subplots in it, right? It is a very complex game, and the way that you go through these challenges, even just the interaction with fighting is different between physical and magic and elixirs and all these different things. So they do a really good job of telling a great story, integrating different challenges and metrics and gaming systems so it doesn't get stale, and aim to really engulf the user in the story and the gameplay. Build the game loop. Anyone ever play Donkey Kong? All right, so when building a game loop, just think about the structure of Donkey Kong. What's your goal? Trying to save the princess. How are you going to do it? You gotta jump over a bunch of barrels. There's some challenges, loops, and rewards. But you get to the next level. What's your reward? You save the princess, or he grabs her, he goes up another level, right? And then it progresses. It gets harder. And the story goes on, and the level gets harder, right? And that's the loop. One of the arcade style. Then progress to the 90s when you have Legend of Zelda, right? I mean, remember this is on Game Boy, but the story that they told, Link crashes on the island, right? That's the stage. What are you going to do now? There's a tutorial that goes so you can understand the gameplay and the mechanics. Then you go through different dungeons. It progresses. You understand the story. And then there's a climax at the end when he fights Nightmare and the story ends, right? All this happened on a little Game Boy, using a great story and game mechanics. And then another one which I think is one of the best stories within video games is Final Fantasy VII. It was such a compelling narrative. The progression of Cloud and uncovering his past and things that came out of nowhere, right? And then the development of other characters in the game that made you want to get better at the game and fight those bosses so you could get more of the story. That, like I feel like God of War and some of these other games that are out there now, you know, the playing is part of the enjoyment, but you're playing to progress to go out throughout the story. So let's level up your product management, strategy, and marketing. So let's think about gamifying our product development processes. In this next sprint, you're gonna bring your engineering team around and say like, hey, we're gonna do an extermination game. Whoever fixes the most bugs gets a t-shirt. And it'll say like, the exterminator or something like that. The rewards that you provide your team don't always have to be financial, right? They could be fun, they could be interactive, it could be a little trophy that they put on their desk. Incorporate game elements into task management like points and leaderboards and the things that we use every day. Who uses Slack? Slack is a plugin for gamification. You could create leaderboards, interactive elements. You could design an internal gamification strategy just using Slack. And Atlassian, Jira, and Trello both have plugins for you to design a gamification strategy. You don't have to buy software. You don't have to start from scratch. The tools that we use out there are ripe for integrating some gamification. And there's toolbox from other places. One of the first gamification tools I used in managing a product team was StoryPoint Poker. And this is a website you could go check out, and it's a way for you and your team to assess points in user stories by playing poker. There's another one, the baseball draft. Take your pre-planning session before you get into a sprint and do a draft and rank your engineers, right, from 1 to 7 or whatever it is, and let them have choices. They make trades on tickets. It's fun, right? Like our job could be a lot of fun and increase the cohesiveness of our teams when we play games. Speaking of games, this is one of my favorite retros, Mario Kart. So I can't stress enough, Miro.com/Miroverse. They have tons of templates. Games for everything you can think of, from strategy to running sprints, to design thinking, and all that stuff. So I use this as my toolbox to play fun retros. So, hey team, like what slowed us down? Who hit a banana on this sprint and spun on, right? Well, what powered us? What powered us? What are we worried about, right? What are we looking over our shoulder for? Because that blue shell is going to come and crash us and take us off course. So we're getting the same information out of these that we would in a regular sprint, probably, but it's not as dry, right? It's fun, it's engaging, it brings up the level of motivation, and then sometimes more of what your team is willing to share. And this isn't the only theme one. They have Star Wars. They have, I forgot the other game, Street Fighter. Like, there's all these different type of retro templates that make retros more fun and engaging. Storyboarding. We, keep iterating how important this story is for all of this. So do some storyboarding exercises with your team. You can do it on an actual whiteboard, or you can grab a storyboard template. IBM is one of my favorites. So if you go to IBM/design thinking, they have templates and tools and a lot of design thinking templates that you can use to design your gamification strategy. So frame your story, select your characters. What are your characters going through? Like, what do you think the game would be? What rewards would they want to get out of it? Illustrate it, and then look at pain points and opportunities. And you can even split off into teams in storyboard, right? And then use dot voting to vote on what you think the best story is, best parts of the story, things like that. Another couple of quick examples. Gamified workshops. Who here has ever run a workshop with their team or with a client? All right, most of us have. My favorite way to get in a workshop, especially with a new team, is I'll create an icebreaker. So I usually pick pop culture references, GIFs, and I'll put them on Miro. And then I'll bring everyone in, like, how are you feeling today? Pick a GIF. So what's someone's favorite TV show? Or what's people watching? Send me a movie or TV show that you've watched recently.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a perfect example because I love that movie, right? So have a picture of like Groot, a picture of Star-Lord, like crying, right? Gamora, angry. Put all these characters with different emotions on it. And then as you come into the meeting, ask your participants, which character do you identify with today and why, right? And playing that game really gets to let you know either your clients or your team a little bit better and get a pulse on the meeting, right? How are they feeling? Oh, there's a lot of people angry. This is not going to be fun today, right? Or everyone's in a great mood, right? We could be a little bit more joyful. Cross-functional challenges. One great example here is that customer journey map. It is not just the role of product management in that journey, right? Usually it starts with marketing, there's product, there's design, there's customer service. There's a lot of other teams involved. So when you're doing customer journey maps, bring teams in from other departments and split them up and have challenges about, how to create the best customer journey map with different perspectives. And when you have that team-based competitive style, it really invigorates people to try harder, to think outside the box, to be innovative, and then have some type of award, right? Whatever team wins, take them to dinner, take them to lunch, out for drinks, things like that. Make sure that there's an incentive involved. And finally, scoring systems. Google does this really well. They have an intake process for innovative ideas, right? So people submit ideas, and then they're ranked based on the idea, the feasibility of it, and other factors. And if your selection passes and go through some different levels, like you might be getting a patent with Google, right, for creating new technology. So there's really exciting different ways to use scoring systems to drive innovation. Really quick on marketing. Some activities to do with your team if you're in the marketing area. Post-launch customer interviews. Split your team up. Say, hey, we're going to do a contest. We just launched a product. We want you to go out and interview our early adopters, and we're gonna do it for a week. And we're gonna base the feedback on how long was the interview, what insights did you get out of it, how credible were those insights, right? Reward your team that goes out and talks to customers and bring back the best insights. We are living in a very heavy data and analytics time right now. One of my favorite activities with the team is what I call the data detective exercise. So has anyone heard of Sprint by Jake Knapp, or like the Google design sprint, right? You do a week. So take that concept of doing a challenge for a week, but tell your team they're all data detectives. So the first week, right, set the goals. Our goal is we launch this, we're looking for insights in different areas, make sure they have access to Adobe Analytics, Google, whatever you're using, and then structure a week-long challenge to have different members in your team go through data and see what insights they can find. The competitiveness, again, of the challenge and for the reward drives them to find some things that you might not have found before, right? What's working, what's not working, maybe some correlations in the data that you didn't see. And the last is campaign leaderboards. So again, with marketing, breaking up teams, and especially cross-functional teams. So as we just talked about, product, bringing marketing, customer service, everyone else in for the customer journey map, think about the opposite. Have the product marketing people bring in the engineers and the product marketers and customer service to be like, hey, we're doing our campaign, what are our ideas, how do we shape them, what content can we use? And then, track the campaign, see who does the best, give some type of reward. With all this, too, you're at this conference because you're creative and you're ambitious, right? None of us would be here if that's not the case. Everyone has the power to develop their own games. And just like everything else we do, right, it's test and learn. Try something small, see what the reaction is, work with your team, repeat, right? Again, just start with clear goals and objectives for gamified activities. What are you trying to get out of this? Are you trying to get your team to be more productive? Are you trying to get more, increase retention on your product? Set the goal, create some games, prototype and test. We have a book on this if you're looking for more insights. So last with, how do you level up your product career? I have this pin on my wall next to my desk. I was at the product school conference, the last product con that they had. Someone from Amazon came up and they showed the sample PM skills scorecard. And I was kind of doing this, but not really, but it put it in perspective. I'm like, okay, for my career, I'm gonna list all the skills that I need to have to go where I wanna go. I'm gonna look at the different levels of skills to get to where my goal is. And then how am I gonna get there, right? So build a matrix of your skills and how you wanna get there. You can gamify your own product career. Hey, I made it to a 5 on marketing, right? Like, I just finished my MBA with a marketing thing, whatever. Like, that is a big goal for me. I'm gonna reward myself. So you can use these same game mechanics to gamify your own product career. And developing a high performance mindset. So imagine your career goals as epic boss battles awaiting you, right? But please do not battle your boss. it is boss battles, right? So we're looking at what are big things in your career that you want to accomplish. Is it the MPVP certification, right? It's like, all right, that's a boss battle. Transition from consultant to principal consultant, right? That was a big boss battle for me. There's speaking at a conference, right? Like this is things that I'm looking at in my career, in my gamified career roadmap as boss challenges to battle. Analyze the skills that you need to get there. Relentlessly level up those skills to training and real world challenges. There's a mix between training, right, and actually doing it. So things that you're learning, implementing, taking those skills to level up your career, and seeking opportunities that test and expand edges of your capabilities. Sometimes if you're trying something new, I've always, my nonprofit work, it's not just, I love helping nonprofits, but they are so in need for help. If I want to try a new marketing tactic or a new skill that I learned, usually I take that to the board that I'm working with and say, hey, no one's doing this. Can I test this out? And then obviously celebrate each accomplishment as XP that gets you promotion ready or whatever next stage that you want to go in your career. So just to review this really quick, break down the skills that you want to achieve in levels, right? Each skill gets you to a different level. You can use product road mapping software to create your journey and celebrate milestones. Like I could create my own roadmap in Jira for my career and organize it this way and move things along. And then after you complete a few levels, create new ones, update your rewards. One of the key things for making gamification work over time is that it's fluid, it's not static. Change things, different levels, different points, challenges, and rewards. So, thank you for your time. Dive deeper with our book. You can also find more information on our website, levelupyourproduct.com. 25 Gamify is the code for